What's up, y'all? It's your boy, Mike K. Smith. Make sure you go like, comment, and subscribe. I should be coming on here talking about and leading this stream with Caitlin Clark winning the Rookie of the Year race. Talking about Caitlin Clark having a phenomenal rookie season, arguably the best season ever. But I probably have to make another stream just to do those things. And it's sad because of the fact that I pride myself on analyzing the game, talking about basketball, talking about a sport that's brought me so many opportunities, talking about a sport that has led me to a lot of different places, talking about a sport that really I have a love and a passion for, and I probably owe my life to. But unfortunately, we're here talking about a situation where the WNBA needs to hold themselves accountable. The WNBA needs to really have better people working at the top and running this league because I have never seen a player come into the league and been ostracized, been talked about, been blamed, been made to feel like it is their fault that internet trolls, people on social media, people who aren't real fans on of basketball have attached their name to the face of the league. And people act like just a small portion of these fans are entirely Caitlin Clark fans, which that's not the case at all. And there's a lot of hypocrites when we talk about the WNBA game. There's a lot of hypocrites when we talk about people choosing to respond to certain things. And it all has to do with the fact that the WNBA is just not ready to be mainstream. I'm going to say that again. All this has to do with the fact that the WNBA is not ready to be mainstream, and the WNBA went mainstream for casual viewers. And when I say that, the WNBA went mainstream for casual viewers, meaning that it was a whole lot of people that started watching the WNBA on both sides due to the popularity of Angel Reese and also Caitlin Clark for a variety of different reasons. But you had diehard NBA fans, diehard WNBA fans, diehard basketball fans that just love the game, love the culture of what basketball brings to the United States and to the entire world, love everything about the beauty of the sport, the essence of the game itself. But unfortunately, when new fans enter the league, it causes things to go from the actual product to outside of the court. And that's what we saw with the arrival of this rookie class. A lot of times I talk about how this rookie class is potentially one of the greatest rookie classes the WNBA is going to ever see, one of the greatest rookie classes we have ever seen, regardless of gender. But what we're seeing is a rookie class that came in very divided. And it came in divided due to the fact that Angel Reese's fan base and Caitlin Clark's fan base, and due to the situation of Angel Reese basically taunting Caitlin Clark in a championship game, and Caitlin Clark taking on the chin and saying it's just basketball. It is what it is. But then you had the Barstools president come out and make a racist comment. Then you had Angel Reese fans and talking about how she doesn't deserve that. And it became a black and white issue. And then coming into the WNBA, you have two of the biggest names of women's college basketball entering the league, and you think it was going to be about the basketball product on the court, but it turned out to be a bunch of nonsense due to people that are casual viewers and people that want to make things bigger than what it is and sided on and latched to different fandoms or stand different players due to the fact that let's make this into a race war. Because for whatever reason, Angel Reese fans think that you can't be fans of hers and be fans of Caitlin Clark And then some Caitlin Clark fans believe you can't be fans of Caitlin Clark and be fans of Angel Reese. And I'm here to tell you that is not basketball, and that is not real basketball fans. Those are trolls. So here I am talking about things outside of do with basketball. And once again, the WNBA went mainstream for casual viewers this year, this past, and the season's still going on, but the WNBA went mainstream for casual viewers. And we saw a lot of fans, new fans entering the WNBA, which brought a lot of eyes to the game, but also brought a lot of negative things to the game as well when we talk about the game of basketball, because we got people that are attached to players, which is why I say all stand culture is bad, no matter what totem pole it falls on, no matter if it's positive or negative. It is bad. It's a mental illness, because what we've seen right now with the Angel Reese and the Caitlin Clark and all the issues that's happened this year is pure mental illness, in my opinion, because a lot of it doesn't make sense, because the real people that are fans of basketball, fans of the product of the basketball court, they don't talk about anything to do outside of that, because that's not what matters. The WNBA has become a fan base of shade room followers that support Angel Reese, and some of the fan base for Caitlin Clark has become those MAGA supporters that latched on to Caitlin Clark due to what happened in the NCAA final matchup against LSU. We know that Caitlin Clark is from Middle of America. I'm from Middle of America. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, to its core, through and through. North Side, St. Louis, Missouri, Ferguson. Like, as pro-black as you can be. If you know, you know. But at the same time, when it comes to basketball, when it comes to watching the game, I don't give a damn if you black, white, purple, blue, rainbow, whatever the hell your skin color is. I'm talking about the actual beauty and the essence of the game and the basketball product on the court when we're analyzing the game. It doesn't need to be a race war. If you make things a race war, you will get blocked. If you're spewing hatred, racism, discrimination, you will get blocked. I don't believe in none of that. But the problem is you had new fans and new viewers of the game who latched themselves onto either player, and it's become a bigger issue, unfortunately, because now all these eyes are drawn to the WNBA, and the WNBA and its players, they're not ready for it. They're too close to their fans. That is the problem. So the WNBA went mainstream for casual viewers, and it brought a lot of attention to the rest of the league and players and teams, and they're not ready for it. They've been talking about how they want more viewership. They've been talking about how they want more people to go to the games. They've been talking about how they want more people to talk about the games. They've been talking about how they wanted more money, more better experience overall. And then you get those things, but in reality, it's just like it's a lot that comes with it that a lot of players in the league aren't used to dealing with. And it's making them uncomfortable. And now they're basically blaming one particular player for all this happening when they're not talking about all the positive as well. But the truth of the matter is, anytime you have more viewers, more followers, more people supporting your game, you're going to have more negativity. It just doesn't come with positivity. So that's why I say the WNBA players are too close to their fans. And the fact of the matter is, when you're getting on Twitter and you're getting on social media and you're looking up comments and you're looking to play victim, and I'm not diminishing any experiences that people are going through, because as a black man, I know what it's like to be black in this world. But at the same time, I also can read and smell bullshit and know when things ain't really making sense the way that y'all are trying to put it. And once again, I do not condone, I repeat, I do not condone any racist or hate or sexist or harassment by anyone, especially over sports. It's a form of mental illness. I've always said repeatedly that the W needs to do a better job as a professional organization entirely. There needs to be new figureheads at the system, at the top, to make sure that what happened this season does not happen the following season. but also the WNBA coming out and addressing social media, X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, trolls, and these players basically coming out trying to blame Caitlin Clark for things outside of her control due to people that aren't really basketball fans. And it doesn't take people, it's not rocket science. It doesn't take you to be super intelligent to understand that a lot of these people that are doing things or saying things aren't actual basketball fans. They're just trolls, and they attached on to Caitlin Clark due to their hatred of black individuals, black women, black men, being MAGA supporters, whatever the case that may be, and that's what it is. But at the same time, the league should not be driven by social media trolls and internet gangsters and narratives. It should not be. And my issue is that if you're going to allow that to happen in the WNBA and you're going to make that what the league is going to become about the narratives, about nothing to do with the actual basketball product, then you need to be consistent on all angles. You can't go around and then making a statement because players are talking about how the Indiana Fever and their fan base and Caitlin Clark fans are spewing hatred and racism and mistreatment of WNBA players, because at this end of the day, those are just people that aren't actual fans of the game and are attaching their names to Caitlin Clark. So it's unfair to try to make her the spokesperson of people that she doesn't even support. And even she came out and she condemned herself. She said that nobody in our league should be facing any sort of racism, hurtful, disrespectful, or hateful comments or threats. Those aren't real fans. This is Caitlin Clark's words, not mine. Those are trolls. They're doing a real disservice to the people in our league and the organization and the WNBA. So for you to have stars to come out and WNBA players like Alyssa Thomas, who I'm not diminishing any of their experience and things that they went through, because I know what it is like to be a black person in America and a black person in this country, in this world. It is tough. It is hard at times, especially when you're playing at the highest level that they're playing professionally. But to point out and say that every Indiana Fever fan is racist, to point out that to say that the entire fan base of Caitlin Clark is unprofessional, or they're doing things on social media to cause harm to everybody, that's not true. Because if that's the case, if we're going to be consistent, you got to talk about Angel Reese fans as well, calling people Uncle Toms, calling people monkeys, calling people coons, talking about how if you support Caitlin Clark, you're not black. All this stuff, that's hatred as well. It's like, so when you play this game, it's a very, very dangerous game that you have to continue if you're the WNBA by making a statement and talking about social media trolls, and it really did your league a disservice, because what happens is now that you made that statement and Caitlin Clark made another statement denouncing all that, the racism, the hatred, the discrimination, things that she's never been for. She's done it multiple times. This is just the latest time she has done that, because she's been called on the carpet because of issues with some people in her fan base and things of that nature who aren't really fans or don't really have a real passion of the game. She's called it out on the carpet, but now it brings into a case where none of these issues that happen in the WNBA besides that have been addressed by by the media, or its players. Not one WNBA player, Alyssa Thomas, Dejanay Carrington, Aja Wilson, like we can really talk about it, have came out and said anything in support of De'Erica Hamley's case against the Aces, or came out and supported her publicly. Like, nobody's talking about some of the Chicago Sky players being harassed as well, with not just Caitlin Clark, but some of the Sky players harassing, for like their fan base, harassing other players outside of the Chicago region as well. Like it's a double-edged sword. It doesn't only go one side of the party. Nobody has talked about none of those things. So when you make issues and you make statements in support of not even unnecessary support, when you make statements and you make things and you make the league feel like, oh, this is a problem, let's just hop on it, let's jump on it, you put into question, what about the rest of the things? Were those things not important? Or is this just important because you got WNBA players coming out saying all these things in due to the light of, yes, what they experience is their experience, and it's unfortunate and it's sad that that has happened. But at the same time, that does not negate the fact that not every fan is like that supports Caitlin Clark or their entire fan base. So it puts in the question that, okay, if you're going to be a league, you're going to make a statement about those things, but you got to talk about the Hamley case. You got to talk about how Las Vegas Aces fans booed De'Erica Hamley when she came and played at the arena, due to the fact that Becky Hammon got a slap on the wrist or a suspension a couple games and was able to finish out the season. And if you read that case and you read what's going on and some of the things that De'Erica Hamley has mentioned and said, that is the epitome of white privilege. But no WNBA players are talking about that. No media members are talking about that. And the players that are coming out and talking about, well, Caitlin Clark needs to make a statement, and Caitlin Clark can't stay silent because people are trolling, and she's made multiple statements. Okay, she's made multiple statements. She came out and she did the things that you guys wanted, but you're not supporting any of those other things. That seems very questionable to me. And once again, we're not mitigating your experience, and we're not looking over the stuff that you've gone through for us, like the racial slurs, for us the harassment, for us all those things that have happened to you throughout this entire season. But I'm asking you, why is that not the case of you supporting De'Erica Hamley? Why is it not the case where if you're talking about racism and hatred and all the things that you're receiving, why aren't you talking about the people that support Caitlin Clark and the fan base that have received harassment, been called a cool, been called a monkey, been called an Uncle Tom, been said that you don't love black people because you support Caitlin Clark because of that Chicago Sky fan base and Angel Reese's fan base. That's a nasty fan base as well. Let's talk about how straight players in the WNBA are harassed due to their sexual orientation of them wanting to like men and not women. There's all these things and issues and cases that have been going on, have been talked about, have been open, and not a lot of people are talking about it because maybe it's because they don't care, or maybe it's because now you only care about one aspect of what you call quote unquote social justice. When we could talk about how the Aces fans and fans in general bully Sabrina Esco when she came out the league. People talk about Leah Boston and her social media accounts were deactivated. So was Sabrina Esco's, due to hate, due to being bullied, due to a variety of things. Like nobody talked about the WNBA and come out and make a statement on how Caitlin Clark had to have a fan removed for harassment. Nobody talk about Skylar Diggins' mistreatment by the Phoenix Mercury organization. Nobody talks about those things. Why is that not the case? Because if you're going to open up Pandora's box and you're going to make a statement based on social media trolls and internet thugs and people who actually don't like the game of basketball, who aren't real fans of the game, you got to talk about everything. And that's what I talk about, the lack of consistency. And once again, I'm going to say this, I do not condone any racist or hate or sexism or stalking or harassment by anyone, especially over sports. It is a mental illness if you're doing these things over a name of a player, whether it's Angel Reese or Caitlin Clark, in support of them when they don't even support none of the shit that you're doing, because they don't support that and they condemn that just like I condemn that. And you're not a real fan of the game of basketball. You're just a fan of hate. But you have to be consistent with all of the other hate that's going on and around and involving your league that you're not making statements about. I always ask for consistency. That's what I talk about in a game of basketball when I'm analyzing game, when I'm talking about players, when I'm talking about teams. I value consistency more than anything. Because if you're going to be a league that's going to make statements and you're going to talk about every little issue on social media, which you did your organization a disservice. If that's going to be what you're going to be about, you better damn sure make sure that you're consistent on all fronts. Because you can't blame only one player when things are outside of their control and not talk about all the other things that I mentioned that are going on and have been going on for a very long time in the WNBA. So once again, it's unfortunate because I'm supposed to be talking about Caitlin Clark winning Rookie of the Year. I'm supposed to be talking about Caitlin Clark and her greatness. We're supposed to be talking about how Nefessa just won Defensive Player of the Year, averaging, was it 1.9 steals and 1.3 blocks per game, and she's averaging 40 right now so far in the playoffs. Talking about how Aja Wilson just is unanimous MVP. Talking about Dejanay Carrington, her becoming the most improved player and really working on her offensive game, and still got some ways to go, but really has improved overall as a player. But yet I'm talking about WNBA PR statements. I'm talking about things that lack of consistency on all fronts when we talk about the coverage of the WNBA for all issues and not just issues pertained by one player. And it seems like, damn, do y'all want Caitlin Clark to just go overseas? Do y'all want Caitlin Clark in the WNBA? Do you want her out of the league? Because a lot of this stuff, once again, I do not condone hatred, discrimination, sexism, harassment by any means. But it just feels like we're not talking about all of the issues that need to be talked about. We're not being consistent when we talk about everything that the WNBA has been involved in for things that players have talked about, things that players have highlighted, things that players have expressed and shared. But we're only focused on one player who's the face of the league and these crazy ass fans. And that's not negating any issues or anything that these women are going through. But it's also women in the WNBA that were going through things prior to Caitlin Clark entering the league that hasn't been highlighted, that hasn't been a statement about. So why are we making things a statement about trolls and their support for Caitlin Clark who aren't real fans? Just so I don't get that. And then we got Angel Reese coming out and making a statement and talking about how she's been a victim for the past 2 years. She's played the villain role. And I understand Angel Reese, and she has a very big point, a very great point in how she feels. And her feelings are valid, and I respect her feelings because it's hard being in her position, in the position that has been in since that moment happened with the LSU Tigers. But she's also came out and said that she will be a villain in the league. And she doesn't mind this, and she knows what comes with that. But the problem is she's human as well, and we're all human as well. And just because she's more vocal about her experience and things that she's going through does not mean that there's not other players that I mentioned that are going through things and have been going through things, but there aren't tying their experiences or blaming their experiences all due to one player who is the face of the league. They're not doing that. And yes, it's truth in some of these crazy ass Indiana Fever fans and MAGA fans and people that are racist that support Caitlin Clark because they hate black women or they hate black people or they hate minorities, whatever the case may be. There is definitely truth into that. All hatred should be condemned. All that stuff should be ignored. All that stuff has no place in the WNBA or in the world in general. But unfortunately, the world is not always a great place. And unfortunate that Angel Reese is experiencing these things and she doesn't deserve these things. But it's also unfortunate that Skylar Diggins experiences things that she experienced in the Mercury organization and nobody's talked about it. It's also unfortunate that De'Ara Hamley is experiencing things that she experienced with the Las Vegas Aces and nobody's talking about it. Has a case open against the Las Vegas Aces right now. It's also unfortunate where straight women in the WNBA talk about their experiences in the WNBA and talk about how they're ostracized and how people have tried to change their sexual orientation or bully them because of their sexual orientation just because they don't want to participate in being a part of the LGBT community as well. So if issues are going to be talked about due to the bigots and the racist individuals and the discrimination and all those things, we got to talk about everything because all hatred is bad. All discrimination is bad. All social issues and injustices are bad. But we don't get to pick and choose when we just want to highlight one. We got to talk about everything. You have to be consistent. Because if we're not talking about the actual basketball product and we're steering away from that, and this is not surprising to me because it's been steered away in it's been steered away in the NBA game for so long. The NBA has become like the WWE, all about entertainment, all about hot takes. No analysts are really talking about the actual game, talking about sets, talking about what's happening on the court. Everybody got a hot take. So it doesn't surprise me that the WNBA is becoming like the shade room. It doesn't surprise me when the WNBA is becoming a league that's talking about narratives and talking about everything that has nothing to do with the game of basketball. It doesn't surprise me that the WNBA are experiencing mainstream success, but unfortunately they don't know how to handle that due to the fact of the matter is that it's some jealousy and insecurity going on with who the face of the league is right now, and it's not the face of the league who they want. So all I'm saying is we got to be consistent in everything. So if this is the route we're going to go and the WNBA is going to make a statement based on all these things that these WNBA players are saying, which they have a legitimate argument. But at the same time, we got to make sure that we talking about everything. And Bible Boy, the face of the league is Caitlin Clark. That's the face of the league. Face of the league is Caitlin Clark. Asia Wilson is the best player in the world, but she ain't the face of the league, my boy. That's just the truth. Because the face of the league is about viewership. It's about merchandise sales. It's also about on-court production and play and popularity. Last time I checked, Caitlin Clark got 3 out of the 4 where she leads in. That's just the truth. People talk about it's about winning. Winning is going to come. You comparing a rookie to a player that's been in the league a league longer. You can't be the face of the league when you don't win. You condemning a rookie. That LeBron James was LeBron James not the face of the league for the first 6 seasons when he was a Cleveland Cavalier and he didn't win a championship, even though he went to the playoffs and went to the finals? That wasn't the case. Was Kobe Bryant not the face of the league after Shaq left? Was Stephen Curry not the face of the league? Was Kevin Durant not the face of the league? Like, what are we talking about? Was Michael Jordan not the face of the league when he was playing with the Chicago Bulls and they were terrible? And we had Larry Bird talking about that's Black Jesus, even though they didn't win a championship until Scottie Pippen and the crew came. He wasn't the face of the league because he didn't win a championship. That's a casual statement. Like people don't understand that you can be the face of the league, and yes, you want to win a championship. You're striving to win a championship. But just because you don't win a championship or you haven't won a championship yet, does not make you the face of the league or one of the faces of the league. And it can be multiple faces of the league. Victor Wembanyama, is probably not going to win a championship no time soon. Is he not deemed the future face of the league for his marketability, for his what the NBA is trying to promote and produce, and him getting a Nike deal, going to have a signature shoe as a big man? Nike don't even really do that. What are we talking about? But it's your boy, Mark K. Smith. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. I'm gone, man. Peace.